Coordinated, episode 211, Disturbing Interruption.
Greetings, AP coordinators. Derek Hameta here, Senior Director, AP Coordinator Experience for the AP program, and AP Coordinator Emeritus. I'm taking on a new made-up title, Karli. What do you think?
I think someone smarter than you used that word, and you're repeating just to show off. Hey, everyone. I'm Karli Suge, school counselor and AP coordinator.
Thanks for joining us. Not too long ago, we used a crystal ball to peer into the future of digital testing. To be efficient, cost-effective AP coordinators, we're bringing out the crystal ball again. This time, we'll see what the month of May has in store for us. As always, this is the right place to be to hear all the latest and greatest in the world of AP coordinators.
Let's get to it. You're ready. I'm disturbingly ready. It's time to get coordinated.
Good morning, Karli.
Hey, Derek. Actually, if we're being honest, not that great of a morning for me.
Uh-oh.
I did not sleep too well, and it's your fault. When you told me yesterday that the title of our episode was going to be Disturbing Interruption, well, I got worried. Hello, I'm an AP coordinator. I don't like either of those things, disturbing or interruption, especially when it comes to testing in May for my AP students.
Understandable. Maybe not the best choice for the title of an episode when you put it that way.
Too late now. I'm already worked up. So, what's the story? Since you deprived me of a good night's sleep, I think the least you can do is start explaining. Now, please.
Way to add in the please there. So, in our introduction, we mentioned using a crystal ball to peer into the future. If we're going to do that, we might as well look into what's going on during our AP exams, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure that most of us do not want any unexpected surprises during testing. So let's put our visionary powers to good use.
I like the way you're thinking.
One of the things that can happen during testing, and I'm not saying it will happen, I'm just saying it can happen, is a disturbance or interruption.
Okay, I don't like the way you're thinking anymore. However, fingers crossed, let's hope this doesn't happen at my school. But yes, I hear you. It can happen. And for that reason, I'm glad we're talking about it now, I suppose.
That's what I was thinking without the sarcasm. This information about disturbances and interruptions is good to know ahead of time because
it's good to cover with our proctors. In fact, I just might share this episode with my proctors as part of their proctor training.
Love that idea. Let me write that down as a best practice. Not to mention, it just might save you a call to AP Services for Educators in May.
And I love the sound of that. Okay, Derek, I'm cooling off. Let's get into the details.
Sounds good. So last episode, we talked about what's new in the AP Coordinator's Manual, Part 2. Be sure to check out that episode if you have not already. Today we're going to open said manual to page 78. There, we find the table for incident reports and specifically the section on disturbances and interruptions.
So, Derek, if you've got that table ready.
1 second. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, I've got a story for you. Let's say my students are testing. Everything is going well. All students are seated. Everyone showed up on time, always a plus. Proctors completed their instructions. We're in the middle of part 1. You can feel the positive energy as my students crush question after question.
A picture of perfection.
Yes, until, despite my requests not to do this, There's an announcement on the school-wide intercom that someone has left their headlights on in the staff parking lot.
Oh boy, not good. Clearly, this is a disturbance. In fact, it's a it's a disturbing disturbance.
Yes, it is. And I'm not so happy about it. One, I'm going to have to chat with someone after testing is done today. And two, who left their headlights on? Ugh.
Let's take a deep breath here. Fortunately, in a case like this, the disruption is pretty quick and temporary. Students are almost always able to continue testing. Now, the good news, Karli, AP coordinators need only report severe disturbances unless there are many student complaints.
So, in this case, because the disturbance was very quick and happened just one time, I'm thinking I don't need to complete an IR.
I agree, unless there are many student complaints. If you determine that an IR report is needed, simply select quote unquote disturbance, note the length of time of the disturbance, and report the nature of the disturbance and the section of the exam affected.
I like it. So, what if I'm looking into the crystal ball again, Derek? What if it's a full on interruption? Not just a little disturbance, a bigger deal, like a fire drill or something like that.
Really good question. Lots to talk about here. Okay, first, I hope this doesn't happen. Second, in case it's a real emergency, the safety of students and staff is always the priority. And third, well, let's talk through what's in our table on page 78 of the AP Coordinator's Manual, Part 2.
Okay, I'm ready.
Proctors should note the time of the interruption. This is key. Ask students to close their exam booklets and leave them on their desk. Direct students not to talk and not to access prohibited items. Proctors should monitor students at all times if they must leave the testing room. Students should not be left unattended. Students should not discuss test questions. They should not access unauthorized aids, and they should not use mobile phones and other prohibited electronic devices.
What about if it's a fire drill, like the one I saw in the crystal ball?
Great example. With a fire drill, usually students can return to the exam room in a reasonable amount of time. If you are certain all students were monitored properly during the entire time that testing was interrupted, follow procedures and allow students to continue testing. If testing cannot be resumed, call AP Services for Educators immediately.
Good information. And Derek, as you were talking, I looked up the table you mentioned and saw that we would need to complete an IR for this scenario.
Correct. On the IR, which is submitted online, select quote unquote interruption. Note the length of the interruption and the affected sections. That's why I mentioned noting the time of the interruption. Please report the source, the impact, and the corrective action taken, including any time adjustments. Also, please return the seating chart in the IR return envelope. No call to AP Services for Educators is necessary. And let's say that last part again because it sounds so good.
No call to AP Services for Educators is necessary. Whew, got it. I'll be ready. So will my proctors. Good chat, Derek.
You know, stuff like this happens. Both examples we talked about today actually happened during testing at my former school. We had unplanned announcements that created a short, temporary disturbance, and we had the fire alarm go off. Although, in my case, it was the actual alarm, not just an unplanned drill.
Oh, details, please. That sounds like a good story.
Uh, yeah. So, like I said, it was a real fire alarm. Of all people, our chemistry instructor was conducting experiments in his classroom, and
Oh, no.
let's just say that one of the experiments didn't go quite as planned. There was a small... and the fire alarms started blaring all over campus. But there was some good news that came out of it.
I sense the humble brag is coming.
because we reviewed this particular situation in proctor training, the proctor perfectly managed the whole situation. The fire alarm was quickly cleared. No one was hurt. Students were able to resume testing, and
Yes.
the chemistry teacher gave me a nice gift card to the local coffee shop when testing was over. He felt pretty bad about what happened. Not that it's all about me, Karli. In fact, I gave the gift card to the proctor. He's the one who really saved the day.
Derek, that is actually the sweetest humble brag I've ever heard from you.
Why, thank you. I'm trying to end the conversation on a high note. Hey, ready to wrap this up with our coordinated episode, Call to Action?
Let's do it. Fellow AP coordinators, please consider learning more about incident reports. The table we referenced today starts on page 76 of the AP Coordinator's Manual, Part 2. And please consider sharing this information and a link to this podcast episode with your proctors. A little extra awareness and preparation can go a long way towards keeping testing week very, coordinated.
AP coordinators, thanks again for joining the conversation. We'll be back next episode to look a little deeper into that crystal ball. I have a hunch there's a bit more to talk about during exam week. And on behalf of AP Program Delivery and the AP Coordinator Experience team, AP coordinators, we do absolutely appreciate you. And for all your support of AP students, AP coordinators, you are truly good as gold.
Just don't know. I'll say it over and over and over again till I believe it's so. I'm good as gold.
AP coordinators, despite your best intentions, did you miss out on the AP Coordinator Back to School Workshop?
Fear not. The Back to School Workshop is now available on YouTube.
That's right. And we have 2 on-demand videos available. One for new AP coordinators and one for those with a little more experience.
Or watch them both.
Great idea. Check out the show notes for a link to the videos.
Or you can go to collegeboard.org/AP Coordinator Experience. That's collegeboard.org/AP Coordinator Experience.
Get your popcorn ready. This is one more summer blockbuster you won't want to miss.